Okay.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have Maddy Lawrence from Bristol, UK. And she's going to be talking about campervan love, because I love hearing her stories on camping. So, Maddy, the floor is all yours.
Okay. So I just wanted to, so I was just telling Tulsi about my glasses. So yesterday I broke my glasses. So, and these are varifocals. So if I go like this, please bear with me. My vision might be a little bit blurry. Anyway, I'm really happy to be here. So thank you, Tulsi, for inviting me on. And at first I was thinking, a talk, how is this going to go? Because I get very nervous talking to if I know I'm talking to a big group of people, it makes me a bit nervous and I feel uncomfortable and it feels a bit natural. So, I've got some pictures to show you and I've got some stuff here that I want to talk about. So if there's anything that you feel that you want to ask me, please just fire away. Okay. And I've got your questions as well. So thank you for those questions.
Amazing.
So shall I start with some photographs? Would that be, and then you can actually see it because it's not so interesting watching. Do you know what I mean? How should I do this?
You do it the way you want to roll, baby.
Okay, good. So I'll need to share my screen. Let me just start with a little kind of introduction, I guess, as to how this all started. I guess going way back, and I hadn't thought of this till just now. My parents used to have a camper van, right? So when I was tiny, like really little, we used to go on holidays in this camper van, and it was an old style VW 1970s camper van, and it was very basic. And my mum and dad put an old sofa in the back, and my sister and I would sit on the sofa. And it went really slowly. So we would travel for hours and hours and hours to go to a campsite. But once we got there, suddenly the whole world opened up. We were free to run around where we wanted to go. We had somewhere dry and safe to sleep. It was fun. It was exciting and it was fun and it was adventurous. So we were going on our adventure, And I guess since then, I've always had a bit of a love for camper vans, and then when I've always wanted to travel as well. I've always had itchy feet. And I like to have a base, a home, I've realized, but I also like to be able to get away when I want to, because I actually need it. And where I like to go is nature. I love, the sea. I love mountains. I love just being out in nature and that kind of outdoor living, if you like. And the camper van allows me to do that. And so when I was in my early 30s, I went to Australia. And I met up, I was very, very lucky. And I went on my own, by the way. I went for a year.
Wow.
And I wanted to travel around the country and New Zealand. But I wasn't afraid because I knew that I would meet people. I was a bit nervous, but I knew that I would meet people because I know there's a lot of backpackers in Australia. It's a pretty safe country, and I know the language. It was fairly easy, I suppose. And I soon met up with some people who, and I'll show you a photograph of this one.
Ooh,
who they were traveling in camper vans. Yeah. So and we ended up all traveling in convoy. In fact, let me see. Okay, so bear with me because this is where my glasses may not do what I need them to do.
You also have a love for Cornwall, right? Cornwall.
I do. Yes.
I love Cornwall too. I just love the tea, scones, and the clotted cream, and the jam, and the sea, and the surfing.
Yes, all of that. Now bear with me while I find this. I will talk about Cornwall in a second.
Yeah.
So my mum lives there, and so it's quite easy for me to go down there.
Which side of Cornwall?
So she's on the south, quite actually about halfway down through the county. So it's right down on that bottom peninsula. It's very, very beautiful. Where have you gone? Hang on, I've lost you. It's very, very beautiful, but it's very, very popular. It's very busy, and because it's at the peninsula and it's like a bottleneck, right? And so, you know, you get a lot of people going down there in the summer because it's so lovely and it's wild and beautiful, and it gets very, very busy very, very quickly. It gets really congested, and these tiny little country roads in Cornwall suddenly are just rammed full. You know, this is a tiny island we live on already, and you've got this peninsula that's blocked full of people wanting to have a lovely time. And I love it in the summer. Obviously it's beautiful, but it's really lovely in the winter when everyone's gone and it's quiet. Suddenly, you know, it feels wild again.
I love seeing the dolphins there. There's dolphins, guys. There's dolphins in the UK, okay? If you didn't know.
Absolutely, Laura. But I've never seen them. Did you see them when you went to Toolsea?
Okay, so
did you see them, Toolsea, when you went to
I've seen a lot of seals and you know, there was one when I was going on the boats before me, the people that came out said, we just saw dolphins. So I jumped on the next ride. I wasn't lucky to see any dolphins. But I love the surfing. It's just so perfect for the surfing because just the way the water flows and you know, the way you can catch the wave, and there's no sharks. That's nice. Only those basking sharks, but yeah, it's nice. I saw lots of seals.
But you have pretty good surf down in South Africa, right?
Yeah, but do we want to surf with the sharkies?
That's one good thing. I mean, you've got the climate, and you've got this, you know, incredible. I mean, we've got an incredible coastline as well, but you know, I guess the thing is it feels a bit safer because we don't have sharks.
Exactly.
All of those things. But we have the cold and we have the rain and we have the clouds. So, you know. All right, let me find this picture for you. I am going to go share screen. Bear with me.
No worries.
Share screen. I can't see. Okay, so you've disabled screen sharing tools. So I think you need to click something to let me do that.
Multiple participants can share. There we go. How's that? Does that work for you now?
Let's try it. Yes. Okay. Here we are. So let me know if you can see this.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So this is a great picture because this is, I mean, I had been in Australia for a few months by this point. I got there and I went with the idea of having a loose arrangement, of a loose plan, if you like, that I wanted to travel. I wanted to do it independently, but I also wanted to meet people because I wanted to do it on my terms. And, you know, that meant having a rough idea of what I was going to do, but no kind of, you know, I allowed a lot of flexibility. And so what I did was I found a way to do this. through an organisation called WOOF. Right now, WOOF stands for Willing Workers and Organic Farms. Actually, I think the meaning has changed. I think it's worldwide opportunities on organic farms. I think that's what it's called now. And so what WOOF is it's an exchange. So you can go and work on a farm for in return for food and accommodation. So because I didn't want to have a proper working visa where I'm getting a proper job, I wanted it to be more like an exchange where I was meeting like-minded people, where the people who I would be staying with would understand that I am on holiday, I am traveling, I'm here to have fun and to explore the country and the culture and everything. And so I think once you've got that understanding, there's a bit more kind of openness and acceptance and, well, where am I going with this? There's an understanding, yeah, that
safe, like a safe, you after a certain kind of experience, and exactly. So for that certain kind of experience, you wanted to cultivate certain kind of people to be around with, so that you could enjoy the experience your way and with like-minded people.
Exactly. Thank you, Tulsi. You rounded that up really well for me. So I did that, and so that was great because each place that I would stay at, these people would bring me into their home. I would experience life as they were experiencing it. I would meet lovely people, and then I would also get recommendations for the next stop, where I was going to go next, where I was going to travel to, and I might have spent a few days exploring an area before I went to stay in a WOOF farm. And then I would probably stay in a hostel, and I had good and bad experiences of that. And this is why I love the campervan idea, because it felt it was more free, it felt safer. Because you don't always get nice people in hostels. You've got to be a bit aware, you've got to be a bit careful, and there was some not so great experiences. But when I met these guys, I was on a campsite, and you'd get to a campsite, and then there would be a notice on the notice board saying, is anyone traveling north or to wherever? Do you want to travel with us, or I need a lift, or and so I saw a notice. And one of these guys had said, we're traveling north, we've got room in our van if anyone wants to join. And I thought, yep, that's me. Nice. I want to hang out with nice people, like-minded people, and I want to travel, and I want to do it this way. And so I started traveling with these guys, and you can see, there's 3 vans, we all met up with each other, and we started traveling in convoy, right? And there was 12 of us, and we had so much fun, and we built up this really lovely friendship, and that's me on the end here with the blue trousers and the red top. So this was the van that I traveled in, this yellow one here, and these were my lovely traveling companions. Nice. And these guys were from all over the place. So Chloe here, she's Canadian. Well, she was Irish, but had lived in Canada with her family for a long time. Moshe, he's Israeli, and then Mark is English, and then these guys, there's Dutch, Irish, German. These guys are coming over here from all over and choosing to travel in this way. And this was great because we could also, because we were on wheels, we could also reach some really exciting places that we wouldn't have been able to get to with it staying in a hostel, And so that for me was a really great adventure. I loved it. And I came back I spent a year and a half actually in the end doing this in New Zealand and Australia. And I came home back to England, and I decided to go to college and all of these things and study. But I also loved camping, right? So all of my friends back home camp, they all love camping, and they were all starting to get camper vans. we used to camp in tents, right? Which is fine. But, you know, having a camper van is, sorry, I've got a really croaky throat.
No worries. Take your time to clear. It's a really nice topic.
Yeah. we just have a go in this.
No worries. Oh, what a nice picture. I just capture the essence by the picture, you know. You can see the fun just by, I don't know, just I feel that. I can feel it from the picture.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not the clearest because it was an actual photograph and I took a picture of it.
Back in the day when we didn't have digital.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that does capture the essence of it. So yeah, like I say, I came back home and then you know, you know, my friends and I back home, we were doing lots of camping in the summer. I always had a tent. My friends were starting to get camper vans and I thought, I want one of those because camping in a tent is fun, but you know, you're a bit more exposed. You know, if the weather's not great, it can be difficult. It's not as comfy, all of these things, and that's fine, you know, when you're younger. But I was, you know, the older I'm not old, but I'm in my 50s.
I know you, like you kind of get it.
More hey?
I know what you mean. The more older you get, you choose you kind of loved it. You know, all these experiences. It's like, now, okay, I want to enjoy it, but I want to have my style. Yeah, don't cramp my style.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I want my comfort, I want my space, and yeah, and then for a long time I was, and you're probably aware that, you know, Tulsi, because you've been here, you know, property prices, I don't know what's happening over there, but property prices were going up and up and up, and I was trying to save money to buy my own home, and it was getting harder and harder and harder. And so I was saving for this and really wanted a camper van at the same time. And in the end, I just dived into my savings to buy it, because I realized that my life is moving on and I'm not doing the thing that I want to do because I'm too busy working and saving and working and saving and working and saving. And actually, I didn't want to sort of get to the end of my life and go, oh, what did I do? And actually, having bought a camper van, yes, I've dived into my savings to get it, but wow, I mean, the what it has brought me, you know, is incredible. And I've had so much fun and I've not regretted it, and I've still got it, and it's my one vehicle, it's my everyday vehicle. Mind you, I don't use it every day, but you know, it's small enough that I can park it in the city where I live, but it's also my camper van. And you know, I've got to the point where I still want to travel, but I want a base, right? And so, you know, the last few years I was thinking, how can I keep traveling and enjoying the outdoors? I need nature more and more and more, way more than I used to. How can I do all of these things and not feel like restricted and frustrated because I'm not doing enough of it? And so one of the things that I did, and you'll know about this, was I started to learn learn digital marketing and ways of working so that I could take my work with me, so that I wasn't restricted to working in just one place. But also I found a way similar to the WOOF experience that I did in Australia, that I could travel independently, because it is just me. I don't have, you know, kids or a partner or anything, and I didn't want to feel held back by that. I still wanted to do all these things. So how can I do this? And then, so I started looking online, and I found an organization called Trusted House Sitters. And I signed up with them, and they work in a similar way where it's an exchange where you can go and stay in someone's house, and you look after their pet, right? And that's it, right? And so it's kind of like a holiday. They understand you're traveling, you're on holiday, you get to stay in their home, so you're not paying for accommodation. Now, you know, I obviously wanted to take my campervan and do some camping as well. So what that brings me is kind of a base, somewhere where I can meet some people and feel connected in that sense, but also then, you know, I might get recommendations for other places to visit, to go off in my campervan. You know, it just brings a sense of kind of safety and connection, and also that freedom that I want as well. I hope that will make sense.
Oh my God, you told me you went to Scotland, right? Hey, there was a sighting of Nessie lately, by the way.
What, sorry?
It was a sighting of Nessie, you know, Loch Ness, by some, you know, a couple who were across the valley, and they took a clear photo on a video, and they said that Nessie is still alive. But yeah, I know that you went to Scotland, right? Yes. by this experience.
So this is what I did. So I have some more photos. I just need to check with you, Tulsi. How much time have I got here?
Okay, let me just check here.
I want to make sure I kind of get all of the points across and answer those questions as well.
We still have 20 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So let me go to well, let's just move through some of these pictures, right? And
sure.
And we'll see what we come across. Oh, so this is not my campervan, obviously. This is a kayak. This is you might have seen this picture before, Tulsi.
Yes, I remember this picture.
Yeah, so this is Lake Wanaka in New Zealand, and it was on one of my journeys where I was traveling around in a campervan with another person who happened to be a kayak instructor.
Oh, it looks like we could have at least 10 minutes, by the way.
10 minutes?
Yeah, it looks like we could have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Left. Yeah, I don't know where all the time has gone.
Okay, no worries. Yeah. So let me move through these quicker. Okay, so this is part of my adventure. This is Scotland. Okay, so this is just a landscape that I walked through. So this is what makes me feel alive and connected is this kind of landscape. And this was an amazing walk I did with the dog that I was looking after. And I was staying in a remote, there she is.
Oh, wow. So beautiful.
She's gorgeous. And this is right on the top of the mountain. And just before I'd done this walk, I parked down the bottom of this mountain, and I swam, because I like to wild swim as well. I swam with some local wild swimmers I met up, and that's the other thing that I do. So I want to, like I say, I want to feel connected to other people, but there are things that I enjoy that I want to do, but I want to do them safely. So I get onto Facebook and I find local swimmers, because there are lots of people who like to wild swim around the UK, and I know around the world now as well. And I just got in touch with these guys, and they said, yes, we're swimming here at this time. And I met them, and then me and the dog came on.
Nice. You know, Maddy, I think we can go on about, I want to keep seeing the pictures, but I'm also concerned about the 3 questions, because they're very good questions. Yeah, and the time.
Let me answer those questions for you, because, okay, so let me just come out of this one a sec.
And I'm going to pick up the questions so long.
Yes.
So if we can answer those first, I mean, we can always call you back because you have such amazing.
I was going to say, do you want to do that, Tulsi? Is it because the time's going to run out on your
on the Zoom? Yeah.
On Zoom? Well, you can always just call me back in a minute and we can just tag it on if you want to.
Oh yeah. Or we can just continue we can make another link. We continue with the meeting. That sounds good. Okay, right. Okay, so
you do that. Yeah. So do you want me to do the questions, or do you want me to go through the photos?
Okay, so
let's do the questions because I'm there now.
Okay, so let's go get the questions. Question number 1. Living in the United Kingdom over time, what sort of evolution have you been lucky to see in women from the time you were young to now? Positive and negative.
Yeah, so this is really interesting, this one. So I wasn't sure if, hang on, let me go back. Here we are. So I wasn't sure if you wanted me to relate this to the campervan experience or not, but this is still a really good question because it made me think about this. And you know, it's interesting because today's my niece's 19th birthday, and I was thinking about her and seeing how she is now. Evolution have I been lucky to see in women from the time you were young. So, you know, I was born in 1970, and I guess, you know, around that time there was still, you know, still that very kind of old, for this country, you know, we would call it that sort of old school idea of, you know, the man goes out to work and the woman stays at home and looks after the kids and, you know, does all the housework, that kind of traditional style of living, which, you know, I know still happens, still is the norm in many cultures, and that's fine, but it's changing a lot here, and I'm sure all over the world as well. And please stop me if I'm going too far, but or if I go off track, because I sometimes go off on a little bit of tangent. And so, you know, what I've seen is I guess, you know, especially with my grandparents as well, and how they lived, and now, of course, you know, there's a lot more equality. There's still a lot of inequality. There's a lot of misogyny, which is very sad as well. But generally, I would say that young women are far more aware of what is fair now. And I would say that, you know, regarding things like, you know, the positives are body image. As another positive that I was thinking of, a neighbor of mine was telling me that a colleague of hers who was quite new to the job, who was still in her, you know, probation period at work, where she was there for the first 3 months, and then they decide if, you know, you both sides decide if you're going to stay, if you're right for the job. And and this lady so sorry, excuse me.
No worries.
And this lady had normally we are so kind of afraid of not being accepted, that, you know, at the end, you know, when you start a new job and you're on that 3-month probationary period, the norm is to feel, oh my gosh, I really hope this company accepts me. I hope I'm good enough. I hope that they see, you know, that I can do this, etc., etc. And this lady had, at the end of her probationary 3 months, had turned around to the company and said, I'm sorry, this company is not good enough for me. I need better. And I just thought, wow. So great.
Yeah, great.
Because, yeah, because it is for both sides. It's not just one way. And for us to, and I think particularly women who and this is ancestral, this is passed down, this is very, very old stuff. There's a general kind of feeling with most women of just feeling like they're not quite good enough, not worthy. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of information out now, especially on social media. People, you know, it's coming into people's awareness to, you know, self-love, for example, you know, accepting yourself, be yourself, love yourself, respect yourself, no matter what. And I think that, you know, that younger women now are a lot more aware of what am I trying to say, Tulsi? Help me out. They are trying to
okay, just stay on the pause there. You stay on the train of thought, because I'm going to help you out in what I picked up there, right? But we're going to move on to the second link on the recording now, so we can also see the pictures and answer the rest of the questions.
Okay. Brilliant.
So guys, we will be back in a jiff. This is Maddy and Tulsi. We are special when it comes to these kind of things, you know, so we have the second recording. Okay, just now, guys, stay on pause there.